Hi guys, welcome back to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Sydney. I film cruelty-free beauty videos 3 times a week. Today's video is one that I'm super excited about because today I'm going to be getting ready with a full face of products that I want to pan next year. So I've really been on a project planning kick lately. I'm so excited. I have so many awesome ideas for projects for next year, and I've been planning a lot of videos kind of around project panning as well. So I thought it would be fun to give you guys a little sneak peek of some of the products that I'm thinking about panning this year. And I created this full face of makeup with the products. I'm really happy with how it all came together. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to end up about halfway through, but I'm really happy with the result. So if you guys want to see how I created this look right here, just keep watching. Alright guys, let's kick it off with eye primer, and I would like to pan my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Soft Ochre. Because MAC is not cruelty free, and I recently went, well, not recently anymore, a couple months ago I went cruelty free. But also just because, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell on camera, but this is just not the best shade match for my skin tone. It's a little bit too dark, it's a little bit too yellow. I do like that I don't have to set this if I don't want to, but honestly, I like my Essence I Heart Color Intensifying Eye Base way more, and that is an 1/8 of the price. No, it's like a 1/10 of the price, so will definitely not be repurchasing this one. But it would be awesome if I could move it out of my collection in the next year. So I actually have already filmed an entire video about eyeshadow palettes that I'm thinking about painting next year. I'm not sure what order these videos will go up in because I'm trying to pre-film for the holidays, but one that I didn't include in there and that I kind of thought of after the fact is my ColourPop Dream Street palette. This is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. It's neutral, but it does have some little pops of color, and honestly, this is one of my favorite color stories to work with, so I thought this could be a good one to pan. I'm going to start off with the shade, I think this is called Shooting Star right here, and this is just a BH Cosmetics number 5 brush, I believe. And I'm just going to start working this through my crease. I'm going to do one eye on camera, one eye off camera, just to speed this along a little bit. Alright, so next I'm going to go in with this little brush from ColourPop. It's the E1 brush, and I think I'm going to take a little bit of this shade right here, which is called Potion. And I'm going to start packing this on my outer corner and blending it up into the crease. I really debated whether I was even going to do a Pan That palette this next year because I struggled so much with my Pan That palette this year. But what I've kind of decided that I think I want to do with project panning period next year is do several small projects. So maybe 3 or 4 couple month-long projects. I just feel like that will work better for me because I do like to switch my makeup up, and I didn't feel like this the entire length of my project pan, but I did start to feel at some points like I was trapped and I was like forcing myself to use the same products, but I was neglecting my collection. So that part of it I didn't particularly enjoy, so I'm going to try to switch things up this year, see how it goes. I am planning on filming a 5 things I learned in my first year project panning video, so if you guys haven't seen that or if it's not up, stay tuned for that, or I'll link it down below. And I think I'm going to take that same brush and dip into this nice deep dark brown shade right here called Elfish. This is one of my favorite browns in the palette. I think this is the shade that I have the most progress on in this palette. It's just one of my favorite browns to work with. And I'm going to focus this mostly in the outer corner. I'm not going to put this on too heavily because I want to go in with the navy, but I kind of feel like I want something a little more neutral for it to kind of help blend into those other browns. Apparently we're taking it through the crease too. And now I'm going to dip into this gorgeous blue shade called Water Bearer. I'm going to take this one from Lexi. This is the 131 mini angled brush, and I'm just going to load that up on the flat side of the brush. But I feel like when I use these shadows, like a lot comes up in the pan, so I feel like these wouldn't be too bad to pan. But what do I know? I've only tried to pan a palette one time. I'm gonna wing this part out just a little bit. I think I went in with a little bit too much of this shadow. I should have started smaller. And I'm gonna take that brush that we took those browns on, just to kind of blend over the edges. Go in with a bit more of Water Bearer. Just going back and forth with that blue shade and this bare brush to just kind of help diffuse it. Alright, so I think I have that built up to where I want it. So I'm going to take just a flat shader brush, this one's from ColourPop, and a little bit of setting spray. Wet my brush down, and then I want to take the shade Stardust right here. And I'm just going to kind of load my brush up. I forgot which side was wet. But I'm just going to kind of load my brush up with this. and I want to do like a soft cut crease. I want to create that cut crease shape, but I don't want to go in with concealer. It's a little bit more high maintenance than I'm feeling today. Oh, this shade is so pretty. I love, 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 love how copper pairs with these beautiful navy tones. I think it's so stunning. You guys can kind of see how I'm carving out that cut crease shape. Taking this about 2/3 of the way across my lid, and then I'm just starting to diffuse it. Then we're gonna go back in with that brush that we used the blue with. Just tap over those edges. So for now, we're gonna put the eyeshadow palette down, and instead I want to talk about a liquid shadow that I want to pan next year. That is my Milani Hypnotic Lights eye topper. This one's in the shade Luster Light. It's the only one that I own, but it is bonkers beautiful, you guys. But I think it's just because of how I'm storing it. You guys can probably, hopefully see that it looks like there's not that much product left in there. But I haven't really been using it a whole lot lately, so we'll have to see. But what I like to do with this is kind of get a little bit on my finger. It's still like wet. It hasn't dried out yet. And I think I'm just gonna tap this on the center of my lid. So I actually forgot about primer, so I just pulled out my Dr. Brandt Pores No More Luminizer Primer. I actually threw this in my project pan this year, and I kind of stopped using it, but there's really not too much left in here, so if I don't use it up this year, which I'm thinking that I can, I will definitely use it up next year. I should have grabbed another primer too. Maybe I'll throw on another one in just a second. But this is a good primer. It's just not cruelty free, and I don't find myself reaching for primer that much lately. So another primer that I would probably like to pan next year is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This one just, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't really do that much for me. I've tried applying it several different ways. I've tried pressing it, I've tried rubbing it, have I tried it with a brush? Maybe. But I don't feel like it does that much for my skin. So we're gonna try this. Maybe this will just become like my filming primer. Like I have a filming foundation, which is just the one that I want to use up right now. But I don't know. I don't get the hype behind this one, you guys, and I'd rather just move it out of my collection. So maybe I can try some different ones. Alright, so next up we're moving on to foundation, and a foundation that I would like to pan this next year is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. This foundation is about a year old, I think, at this point. I think I bought it on Black Friday last year, and I did really enjoy this one for a couple months, but honestly, I think I enjoy the new Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Foundation just a little bit more than this one, so I would like to move this one out of my collection just because it's not my favorite hydrating foundation anymore. But today I'm actually going to mix it with my Maybelline Super Stay, which is once again in my current project pan, but the Flower Beauty one is way too deep for me, as you guys can probably tell right there, but mixed together, they not only create a perfect shade match, but they also create the most beautiful kind of like satin texture on my skin. But I tried out this combo the other day and I was really pleased with the result. So I'm just gonna blend that all over my face with my sponge. Look at the beautiful coverage that this gives. I feel like my skin still looks pretty dewy, but it looks really flawless, and I really do enjoy the combo of those two. I just applied a little bit of color corrector off camera because honestly I only have one of those, so I just use it continuously. When I use it up and I buy another one. But the concealer that I want to pan next year is my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I don't hate this concealer. I think it's pretty nice actually. It wears really nicely throughout the day, but I feel like I found some just as good, if not better, lower cost options. I also feel like this shade might be just a little bit too light for me. I kind of just default to grabbing the absolute lightest shade that they have. This one might even be like the second lightest shade that they have, just because I am so pale, and usually when I buy concealer at the drugstore, I am the lightest shade. But Urban Decay has a bit of a wider shade range, and I feel like this one is just maybe a little bit too bright. I mean, I feel like it looks okay on camera, and it's fine if I highlight the rest of my face, but I just have other concealers that I enjoy more in my collection. And again, setting powders is one of those categories in my collection where I kind of just use one until I use it up, and then I use another one. So I'm going to go off camera really quick and set my under eyes, and then we'll come back for blush, bronzer, and highlight. Alright, so I'm going to be doing my reverse highlight blush bronzer application. You guys will see as I do it. I don't set my face, and I apply my highlighter, then my blush, then my bronzer, then I apply a little bit of powder over top, and I swear it makes the biggest difference in my makeup. So first let's start with highlighter, and for highlighter I chose the Pure Bronze and Brighten palette. I really do like the tone of this highlighter in here. It's like this nice kind of yellow gold shade. Honestly, I feel like I go back and forth with the formula, but I want to test it out with this method and see if I think it looks maybe a little bit smoother, a little bit more flattering on the cheeks with this method, because it's absolutely blinding. As you can see, it's stunning. But if I were to pan a highlighter next year, which I'm not sure if I will, this would be one that I would definitely consider. It's just really pretty, honestly. I really love a super intense glow, and this is one in my collection that I've had for quite a while, but honestly the only product that I reach for in this little trio is the highlighter, so maybe if I pan the highlighter, it'll kind of encourage me to use the other products more too. I feel like the blush is probably workable, but this bronzer is way too deep and way too metallic to be a bronzer on me. It would just look like a muddy mess. So maybe I'll use that as like an eyeshadow. This could be a fun challenge to pan. So maybe I'll get like another project or two under my belt, a little mini project or two under my belt, and then I'll go after that one. Blush was kind of a harder decision to make because honestly I'm using my Laura Geller blush every single day because that's the one I'm panning right now, but it's also one of my favorite blushes. It's a bit of a glowier formula, but pretty much all the other blushes that I own are matte, so I honestly just want to get those out of my collection so I can replace them with glowy blushes because that's what I'm super into right now. So the blush that I picked out that I might pan in the next year is the Pretty Vulgar blush in the shade Hush Blush. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm. It's kind of a nice mauvey shade. This is my BH Cosmetics number 3 brush from the Rose Quartz set, by the way, if you were curious. I remember really liking this tone. I don't really have anything against... Oh, that's very pigmented. That's more pigmented than I thought it would be. Intense. Okay. Okay. It's fine. It'll blend out, right? This is quite pigmented though. I don't know. I just feel like blush is a category where like I don't get super bored panning it, but it's also like a really slow going category, so I don't know how much fun it is for you guys to watch me pan blush. Alright, so now we're gonna move on to bronzer, and this one I've been really back and forth on because honestly I go back and forth on whether or not I even like these bronzers. That is the e.l.f. bronzer palette. I bought this off of Emily Noel 83's recommendation because she did like a whole video where she shared like each of these bronzers was a dupe for like a really nice high-end bronzer, so I bought it. I think I got it at Marshall's for like $3. I cannot even take myself seriously with the level of blush I have on right now. But I feel like I like it when I'm filming, but sometimes in other lighting, like outside of my house, I don't know. I feel like maybe it looks a little bit orange. It's definitely a warmer bronzer, which I don't mind at all, especially in the winter months, which might be kind of backwards because like in the winter months, a lot of people go for cooler tone bronzers, but I get so deathly pale that anything that adds a little bit of warmth and life to my skin, I am all for. We'll see. I might end up just decluttering this one. I almost want to put it in a like 3-month-long project to kind of figure out how I feel about it for sure, and then if I still don't like it, I can declutter it. You guys love my fuzzy vest. I wasn't sure if I was gonna love the fuzzy vest trend or hate it. I think I hated it last year, but now I'm obsessed with it because it's like wearing around my robe all the time. I love it. So unfortunately, I don't have a powder to share with you guys. Like I said, I just kind of use my one setting powder. Well, I use that Essence one. Then I also have this Laura Geller one. This is their Baked Balance and Glow Illuminating Foundation in the shade Porcelain. But I did want to show you on camera how that kind of highlight, blush, bronzer, setting powder technique works. So I just kind of loaded some up on this brush. I'm just going to buff that into the skin. How much smoother and more blended does that look? I'm absolutely obsessed with this trick. I want to like shout it from the rooftops because I want everyone to know about it. Alright, so I hopped off camera, did my brows. You guys can probably tell they're a little too dark for me, but that brings me to the next product that I would like to pan, but I'm not sure how successful I'll be in panning it. It's my IT Cosmetics Brow Power Brow Pencil. This is supposed to be a universal shade, but I find it to be a little bit too dark on my brows. Sometimes I use it when I'm filming, which maybe is not the greatest idea, but I guess I don't have that much product left in it, so I feel like maybe I could use this up next year, but maybe it'd be more like an unofficial project pan item than something that I put in an actual project pan where I'm really seriously measuring progress, since I don't know how often I'll be able to use it. But now let's finish up the eyes. So we're gonna dip back into the Dream Street palette. Okay, I'm gonna be a boring Betty. I was gonna say a boring Nancy, but that doesn't rhyme or have the same letter. And I'm gonna take a little bit of Water Bear just on a flat definer brush, and I'm just going to smudge this on the outer portion of my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take that little kind of flattish blender brush that we use from ColourPop. It's the E1 brush. And I'm going to take a mixture of Shooting Star and I believe this is called Potion. But I'm just going to smudge this under the lower lash line, right where we put that blue, just kind of blending it out and just smoke it out some. And next, I'm just going to take my e.l.f. small precision brush. I'm going to dip back into that Pure palette, and I'm going to take the highlighter shade, and I'm just going to pop this on the inner corners of my eye. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. I've seen Allie Glines doing this a lot lately, and it's just an interesting little technique. I haven't decided if I love it or hate it on myself. I think it looks really beautiful on her and her eye shape, but we don't have the same eye shape. It's TBD if it looks good on me. So now I'm going to take kind of this floppy shader brush from Morphe. It's from the Copper Dream set. I'm going to dip into the shade called Moony right here. It's just kind of a nice satin creamish shade. I don't like to apply this to my inner corners because I feel like it's too dark, but it works just fine on my brow bone. And a little bit of sheen. So that wraps up the eyes. I'm going to hop off camera, finish this eye, and then we'll come back for lips. So finally for lips, I'm going to go in with my Sonia Kashuk Sheer Shine Luxe lip color in the shade Sheer Pink Lust. I bought this years ago off of Emily Noel 83's recommendation, and I really love this product. I pulled it out a couple months ago because I think I put it in like a Shop My Stash basket or something, and I've been using it semi-frequently since then. It's just a really pretty kind of everyday pinky nude shade. It's very, very comfortable on the lips, and I just want to get some use out of this one before it goes like completely bad. I mean, look at that shine. I'm not sure if I would pair it with this eye look. I would much rather have something a little bit peachier on the lips, but it is pretty. It served its purpose for this video. But that's gonna wrap up this video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up, and I would love to have you subscribe to my channel to have you back here. I'm actually pretty happy with how this look came out. I wasn't quite sure about the eyes. I think this eye came out way better than this eye. Something happened over here with the blue that I don't want to talk about, but otherwise I had a lot of fun filming this video. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of seeing what products I might pan next year. If you enjoy panning videos, I will link my entire project panning playlist below if you're in the mood to binge watch some project panning content. And that's gonna wrap it up for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!